Okay, today we'll start the next chapter. Chapter number 4, motion in a plane. Plane means in 2 dimensions. Motion in a plane. Okay, so in this chapter we'll study about vectors, projectile motion, and uniform circular motion. Okay, so these are the 3 topics which we have to cover in this chapter. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, that is vectors. Okay, as you know that vector quantities are those which have magnitude as well as direction. Okay, the physical quantities can be categorized in 2 types, scalar and vector quantities. Okay, depending whether they are having the direction or not. So they can be categorized in 2, scalars and vectors. Scalars are those quantities, those physical quantities which have got only magnitude, whereas vector quantities are those which have magnitude as well as direction. Okay, example of scalar quantities: mass, distance we have studied, time, all these are scalar quantities. M is what? Mass. Whereas vector quantities have magnitude as well as direction, and the examples of displacement, which you can represent it by x. Okay, now when the vector quantities are represented, they are represented by their symbol with an arrow over it. It means it is a vector quantity. Velocity is a vector quantity. So here we represent it by V, symbol is V with an arrow over it. It means it is a vector quantity. Force we represent by the symbol F with an arrow. Whereas mass, simply you can represent it by M, distance can be represented by S, time can be represented by T. No arrow over it. So vector quantities are denoted by their symbols with an arrow over it. Okay, so you can write down vector quantities, magnitude as well as direction, and this is the representation of vector quantities. Okay, now let's see graphically, that is how can we draw the vectors. Okay, the representation of vectors by a line. Let's take an example. Okay, any vector quantity can be represented by a line with an arrow over it. The length of the line is giving the magnitude and the arrowhead is giving the direction. Okay, so any vector quantity, write down, can be represented by a line with an arrow on it. Can be represented by a line with an arrow on it. Let's take an example. Let it is given that the velocity of a moving object is 20 meter per second towards east. Okay, so we have to represent the velocity vector, magnitude is 20 meter per second and the direction is towards east. Okay, so this we have to represent. For this we consider like meter per second, you cannot draw any line. For centimeters, meters, you can draw some line. But here meter per second, you cannot draw, show it with a line. So here we have to consider some scale. Any convenient scale can be considered. Let 5 meter per second is equal to 1 centimeter. Let us consider. Or you can consider 10 meter per second to be 1 centimeter. Any convenient scale. Let here we consider that 5 meter per second is equal to 1 centimeter. So for 20 meter per second, we'll draw a line whose length is how much? 4 centimeters. So some scale, because meter per second is not the physical quantity is not the unit which we can represent it by a line. So here we consider any convenient scale. Here we have considered 5 meter per second to be 1 centimeter. So 20 meter per second will be 4 centimeter. So here we draw a 4 centimeter long line. We draw a 4 centimeter long line with the help of a scale. Okay, so the length of the line is giving the magnitude of the vector quantity. Here 4 centimeter is 20 meter per second. So the length of the line is giving the magnitude of that vector quantity, magnitude of velocity vector. And here we draw the arrow towards east. So here we draw the arrow which is pointing towards east. So the arrowhead gives the direction and the length of the line gives the magnitude. So any vector quantity can be represented by a line with an arrow over it. The length of the line is giving the magnitude and the arrowhead gives the direction. Okay, so you can write down length of the line. Length of the line gives magnitude and the arrowhead gives the direction. Okay, now this starting point of the vector, we call it as tail of the vector. This O point is called as the tail of the vector, where the arrow is put. This point is called as the head of the vector. So O point is called as the tail of the vector, where the point A, the arrow is put. That point is called as the head of the vector. So any vector quantity can be represented by a line with an arrow on it. Length of the line gives the magnitude and the arrow gives the direction. And this starting point of the vector quantity, we call it as the tail, and this point we call it as the head of the vector. Okay, so this is how any vector can be represented. Okay, next some terms related to vector quantities here we'll study. Terms related to vectors. So write the heading, terms related to vectors. Okay, so in this we'll study some types of vectors and some other terms also related to the vector quantities. Okay, the first one is equal vectors. Equal vectors, two vectors having the same magnitude, same direction. Okay, two vectors having equal magnitude. Equal magnitude means the length of both the lines will be the same and both are acting in the same direction. Let this is vector A, this is vector B. So here we say that A vector is equal to B vector. So these vectors are called as equal vectors. So you can write down equal magnitude, same direction. Equal magnitude, same direction. As shown in the figure, vector A is equal to vector B. Second is negative vectors. Write down equal magnitude, opposite direction. Negative vectors means two vectors are said to be negative if they are of equal magnitude but opposite in direction. So you can write down equal magnitude, opposite direction. Equal magnitude, it means the length of the line will be the same because the length of the line is giving the magnitude, and they are opposite in direction. So here you can write down that vector A is equal to minus of B vector. So two vectors having equal magnitudes but opposite in direction, they are said to be negative vectors. Like here, both are having the same magnitude. Why same magnitude? Because their length is same, but they are acting in the opposite direction. So A is minus B vector, or you can write down B is also minus A vector. Next is magnitude of a vector. Okay, magnitude of a vector means only the length of the line. Okay, so write down magnitude of a vector. Length of the line gives the magnitude. Length of the line gives the magnitude and it is represented as the magnitude of A vector can be written in mod. So this shows that this is the magnitude of A vector, or simply it can be written by its symbol. This is also representing the magnitude of a vector quantity. You put the vector sign and put it in these bars, that is in the mod, or simply represented by the symbol. So this shows that this is the magnitude of the vector, and if it is represented graphically, that is by drawing the line, then the length of the line will give the magnitude. Okay, and it is represented by mod of A vector, or simply you can write the symbol. This we call it as the magnitude of a vector. Okay, next is co-initial vectors. Two or more vectors starting from the same initial point. Two or more vectors starting from the same initial point. Okay, as you can see here, both the vectors are starting from point O. So they are said to be co-initial vectors. So two or more vectors, TWO2, two or more vectors starting from the same initial point. Two or more vectors starting from the same initial point. This figure you can draw it, A and B or co-initial. Next is coplanar vectors. Coplanar vectors, two or more vectors lying on the same plane. Two or more vectors on the same plane are said to be coplanar vectors. Like this is the plane of the board. You can draw a number of vectors over here. A vector, this is B vector, C vector. All I have drawn on the plane of the board on a same surface. So two or more vectors drawn on the same plane, drawn on the same surface. So you can write down two or more vectors drawn on the same plane are called as coplanar vectors. Two or more vectors drawn on the same plane are called as coplanar vectors. Next is collinear vectors. Collinear vectors. Okay, two or more vectors, they may be of equal magnitude, they may be of unequal magnitude, they may be acting in the same direction or maybe in the opposite direction. They are said to be collinear. So the only thing is they are parallel to each other. Like here, A vector and B vector, unequal magnitude, acting in the same direction. So they are called as collinear vectors. Or two or more vectors, unequal magnitude, equal magnitude, acting in the opposite direction, they are also called as collinear. So two or more vectors of equal magnitude or unequal magnitude, acting in the same direction or acting in the opposite direction are called as collinear. So what do you see? All these lines are parallel to each other. All this, the length of the lines, all these are parallel to each other. So such vectors we call it as collinear vectors. So write down two or more vectors of equal magnitude or unequal magnitude acting in the same direction or in the opposite direction are called as collinear vectors. Next is unit vector. Unit vector A vector whose magnitude is unity. Okay, in whichever units it is taken, magnitude will be 1. A vector whose magnitude is unity and gives only the direction of a given vector. It's only giving the direction. Its magnitude itself is unity. So it's giving only the direction of a given vector. Such a vector we call it as unit vector. So write down a vector whose magnitude, a vector whose magnitude is unity and gives only the direction of a given vector. And gives only the direction of a given vector is called as unit vector. Write down, it is represented by cap. It is represented by cap. Okay, let's see. Let there is a vector A. How can we write this vector A? This vector A has got some magnitude and some direction. So it can be written as, this is the magnitude of A. Now only the direction of this A vector has to be given. Magnitude of itself is unity. It is represented by cap. Okay, it will not be represented by arrow. Like here, we put the arrow sign over it. It means it is a vector quantity. If the cap is there, it means it is a unit vector. Now any vector A can be written as its magnitude multiplied by the direction. Okay, so the magnitude of this cap vector itself is unity. It is giving only the direction of A vector. So this A cap is called as the unit vector. A cap is the unit vector. So here we get the formula for the unit vector. A cap vector is equal to vector divided by its magnitude. Vector upon its magnitude will give you the unit vector, that is the cap vector. So A cap vector is equal to vector upon its magnitude. Okay, now we know that there are 3 coordinate axes. This is the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. This is the origin. Okay, now suppose we have to write any vector along the x-axis, magnitude we know, and only the direction has to be represented along x-axis. Such a unit vector we represented by I cap. So a unit vector along x-axis is represented by I cap. Along y-axis represented by j cap. And along z-axis it is represented by k cap. So the unit vectors along x, y and z axis are represented by I cap, j cap and k cap respectively. So write down unit vectors along x axis, y axis and z axis are represented by I cap, j cap and k cap respectively. I cap, j cap and k cap respectively. Okay, now let the velocity is 20 meter per second along x-axis. Okay, let any object is moving with the velocity 20 meter per second along x-axis. So how do we write down? 20 meter per second is the magnitude. Now only the direction is required for this velocity vector. What is the direction of the velocity vector? I cap. So how can you write down 20 meter per second I cap? If it is moving along y-axis, then you can write down as 20 meter per second j cap. If it is moving along z-axis, then you can write down as 20 meter per second k cap. So unit vector gives only the direction of this given vector. Its magnitude itself is unity. Okay, its magnitude is 1. It is giving only the direction of this given vector. Okay, magnitude is, this whole thing is the magnitude. Now only the direction is required. So we represent it by a unit vector. Okay, so such a vector we call it as unit vector. Next is zero vector. Zero vector or null vector. Write the next 0 or null vector. Okay, it is represented by 0 and an arrow over it. It means it is a 0 vector, null vector, which has got no magnitude, no direction. So 0 vector or null vector means no magnitude, no direction. Represented by 0 with an arrow over it, 0 vector. No magnitude, no direction. Then what is its significance? If it has got no magnitude, no direction, it cannot be drawn by the line also. Why? Because the length of the line will give the magnitude, and here there is no magnitude, no direction. You cannot put the arrow also. Then what is its significance? Suppose two vectors you are simplifying, or you are finding out the resultant of two vectors, and the answer is 0. Suppose an object is moving 20 meter per second towards x-axis, another object 20 meter per second along minus x-axis. So what will be the resultant of these two? It will be 0. Okay, as two vectors are acting in the opposite direction, the resultant of these two vectors, a minus b, 20 meter per second minus 20 meter per second will be 0. Okay, but you are finding out the resultant velocity vector, and velocity is a vector quantity. So here you will write down that it is a 0 vector. Two scalars when simplified, when the resultant of two scalar quantities is determined and their resultant is 0, we just write it as 0. But if the resultant of two vector quantities is 0, then we have to represent it as it is the 0 vector. Like the resultant of these two velocities is 0. So we'll write that the resultant of these two velocity vectors is 0 vector. Okay, now there are some properties of 0 vector. The first is that any vector added to 0 vector is the same vector, a vector. A vector minus the 0 vector is also equal to a vector. But a vector multiplied by 0 vector will be equal to 0 vector. A vector added to 0 vector is the same vector. A plus 0 vector, a vector. A minus 0 vector, a vector. But a vector when multiplied by the 0 vector will be 0 vector. Okay, next we'll discuss position vector. Okay, a vector which is completely representing the position of a moving particle. That vector we call it as position vector. That is how far is it from the origin, and from the origin what is its direction. Okay, from the origin what is the direction of that moving particle at a particular instant, and how far is it from the origin. Such a vector we call it as the position vector. So write down, it gives the position of a moving particle. It gives the position of a moving particle. That is, how far is it? How far is it from the origin, and its direction from the origin, and its direction from the origin. Okay, let a particle which is moving at any instant, it is at a point P. Okay, this particle moving may be moving along any direction. At any instant, it is at point P. So how far is it from the origin, and what is its direction from the origin? This OP vector, we call it as the position vector, and generally we represent it by R vector. So R vector here is the position vector. Okay, what are the coordinates of P? According to this figure, the coordinates of P are X and Y. I think everyone knows in mathematics. That is, it has traveled some distance along X axis. How much distance it has traveled? X distance, let small x distance. And some distance it has traveled along Y axis. Let that distance is Y. Okay, now how can we write down this R vector? Some distance it has traveled along X axis. Okay, left hand side is vector. So right hand side should also be the vector quantity. Distance traveled along X axis is X. Now only the direction is needed along X axis. What we write down? Unit vector. And the unit vector along X axis is xi cap. Plus some distance it has traveled along Y axis. Let that distance is small y. That is the magnitude is small y. Now only the direction is needed. So how can we write down? J cap. So the position vector R vector can be written as xi cap plus yj cap. Okay, if it is moving only along X axis, then it will be xi cap only. Okay, if it is moving in a plane, that is on a surface, then it will have both the coordinates X and Y. Then it can be written as xi cap plus yj cap. Okay, now suppose it is making an angle theta over here. If you find out cos theta from this triangle, it's a right angle triangle, OP, let us name it as A. In this right angle triangle OPA, you can find out this X distance as well the Y distance. Find out cos theta and sin theta. You will get X and Y distances. If you find out cos theta from this triangle, we know that cos theta is base upon hypotenuse. Base is what? The length of OA line. And what is the length of OA line? X. X upon hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the length of OP line. And the length of OP line is R. So X is equal to R cos theta. Same way, find out sin theta from here. Sin theta is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse, y upon r. So y is equal to r sin theta. So the position vector may also be written as r cos theta into y cap plus r sin theta into j cap. Okay, either you can write it in this way or x and y can be determined in terms of r. X is equal to r cos theta. So r cos theta into I cap plus y is equal to r sin theta. So r sin theta into j cap, it can also be written. So a vector which is representing the position of a moving particle is called as the position vector. Okay. The next is displacement vector. Okay, just this last topic, displacement vector. Okay, then I'll leave you. Displacement vector, the shortest distance, write down the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. The shortest distance between the initial and the final position. Okay, the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. Now pay attention. Let at any time t1, the particle is at P. What is its position vector? R1 vector. Okay, at time t2, it reaches a point Q. Okay, it's traveling in along any path. At any instant t1, it is at point P where its position vector is R1. Okay, at time t2, it reaches a point Q where its position vector is R2 vector. Okay, now the shortest distance between, this is its initial position, this is its final position. So the displacement vector will be given by PQ vector. Let us write it to be delta R vector. So here the position vector, the displacement vector is PQ vector. Let us write it as delta R vector. Okay, and later on you will study that this delta R vector will be equal to R2 vector minus the R1 vector. Okay, how this comes? When we study the addition of vectors, then it will be clear. Okay, by the time you note down, I'll take your attendance.